Lucille Desiree Ball was born on August 6, 1911 in Jamestown, New York, to Henry Ball and his wife Desiree. She was the first of two children. After Lucille was born, her father relocated the family to Montana to find work. At the age of 3, Lucille's childhood began to crumble when her father suddenly developed typhoid fever and died. In response to the unexpected death, Lucille's mother moved the family of 3 back to Jamestown. Lucille's mother eventually found work in a local factory where she met her next husband, Ed Peterson. Ed was not fond of children. According to Lucille, Ed was never mean or abusive, but his presence in the house was shadowy. After their marriage, he decided as a couple him and Desiree would move to Detroit and leave Lucille and her younger brother behind in New York. Lucille and her younger brother Fred were forced to live with Ed's parents. Finally, at the age of 11, Lucille's mother and stepfather returned to New York. By the age of 15, Lucille longed to do something big and eventually convinced her mother to enroll her into the New York Drama School. However, the school thought Lucille was too shy and did not meet the performing arts standards. 1 year later, Lucille prevailed and found work as a model for Hattie Garneggy and Chester Cigarettes. By 1930, Lucille was 20 years old. She dyed her hair blonde and moved to Hollywood in search for more modeling and acting opportunities. Immediately after moving, Lucille found work as one of the 12 Golden Girls to promote the 1933 Eddie Cantor flick, Roman Candles. She next landed as an extra in the Ritz Brothers film The Three Musketeers and earned a larger part in another film called Stage Door. Lucille's second break was a contract with RKO Studios as a model in the Esther Rogers film Roberta. RKO was very impressed with Lucille's outstanding personality and work ethic. Lucille appeared in 72 movies during her long career. This included a string of second-tier films in the 1940s that garnished her unofficial title, the Queen of B movies. Lucille met her first love, Desi Arnaz, by earning a starring role of the film Too Many Girls in 1940. After finishing the film, Lucille and Desi eloped at the Bryam River Beagle Club in Greenwich, Connecticut. In 1948, Desi encouraged his wife to pursue broadcasting and she landed a lead role in the radio show My Favorite Husband. The program caught the eyes of CBS Productions. Lucille and Desi knew what they wanted out of their contract with CBS, production in Hollywood instead of New York and shooting on film rather than the cheaper kinescope. After being told it would cost too much, they both agreed to take pay cuts in exchange for full ownership rights of the program. As a result, Desilu Productions was founded. On October 15, 1951, I Love Lucy aired for the first time. The show's daring humor and storylines relating to the everyday person, marital problems, and women in the workforce immediately captivated audiences. I Love Lucy ran for 6 seasons and was number 1 on the air for 4 of them. One particular episode showcased the birth of Lucy's son and surpassed the ratings of the inauguration of President Eisenhower. In 1957, after 6 seasons of I Love Lucy, Desilu Productions continued to produce top-quality television programs. Throughout the late 1950s, Desi's drinking escalated and Lucille was concerned with the publicity of her private humiliations. When Desi was arrested for public intoxication, the couple began to separate. In 1960, after 20 years of marriage, Lucille and Desi divorced. Lucille married again, this time to comedian Gary Morton. Morton took over Desi's role of warming up the audience prior to the filming of The Lucy Show. He also took small roles in shows with Lucille, and eventually ended his stand-up career to be more involved with his wife's projects. In 1962, Lucille bought out Desilu Productions. As Lucille states, the board of directors then persuaded me to be president, and I reluctantly agreed. As a result, Lucille became the first woman to run a major television production studio. 5 years later, Lucille sold the studio for $17 million to Gulf Western Company, who later renamed the studio to Paramount Television. Throughout the next 11 years, Lucille continued starring in more Lucy sitcoms, The Lucy Show and Here's Lucy. They were moderately successful, but not to the caliber of I Love Lucy. In 1985, Lucille took on a dramatic role in a made-for-TV movie, Stone Pillow. Although she earned some praise for her performance, critics were addicted to the Lucy they knew and loved and requested to see her return to comedy. As a result, Lucille later premiered yet another sitcom for CBS, Life with Lucy. She earned $2.3 million from the show, but not a large audience. The show was canceled after its 8th episode. The Fail of Life with Lucy was Lucille's last television role, as she died 3 years later on April 26, 1989 in Los Angeles due to a ruptured aorta following open heart surgery. Lucille Ball's mark on the entertainment industry is evident through the many awards received throughout her lifetime, including 5 Emmy Awards, the Career Achievement Award, a star in the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and the 1955 Television Achievement Award. She was also the first woman to be put into the Television Academy's Hall of Fame. Unknown to most, Lucille Ball was also the first person to film in front of a live audience, which introduced a new style of filming that dominated television afterwards. She was a pioneer for women in the business industry by becoming the first to own a major production company, where she produced successful shows including Star Trek, Mission Impossible, and The Untouchables. Television personalities and businesswomen today, such as Oprah Winfrey and Barbara Walters, followed in her footsteps. As America's greatest comedian, Lucille led the way for many other women to enter the field of comedy, such as Ellen DeGeneres, Betty White, Joanne Rivers, and Carol Burnett.
There really isn't a day that goes by that she doesn't dip into the cobwebs of my mind, one way or the other.
Despite the difficult circumstances she faced as a child and her initial struggles to enter the acting world, Lucille Ball persevered. Her groundbreaking accomplishments throughout her career made a major impact in advancing opportunities for women in the entertainment and business industries.
If you're ever in a jam, here I am. If you're ever in a mess,